All right, then hello MudCon and hello YouTube. You will learn about NeoWiki in this 20-minute or so talk, and there should be plenty of time for you to ask questions afterwards. I am Jeroen Dauw, CEO of Professional Wiki, and some of the slides will be presented by Bernhard Krabina from Knowledge Management Associates. Many of you in the audience here know the power of Semantic MediaWiki. It's a unique software that's quite powerful and flexible, and it serves many different use cases. You might also know that it has some big issues, and that despite all its promise, it never achieved a real breakthrough success outside of the MediaWiki world. And there's several reasons for this. One of them is that the competition hasn't stood still. There's very popular modern knowledge management solutions like Notion, like Airtable, and the usability in these tools is just on a different level than Semantic MediaWiki, which is quite technical and has a steep learning curve. I've been maintaining Semantic MediaWiki for over 15 years, and I created large parts of Wikibase almost that long ago. So these softwares are also not the most modern. And over these 20 years, there are many lessons that we have learned, and I think it's time to try something new. Introducing NeoWiki, which is a modern solution for structured data in the form of a MediaWiki extension that's open source. You get radically better usability, and at the same time, we're achieving step change improvements in sustainability. We are explicitly not aiming for feature parity with prior solutions because we believe that you can get 90% of the value from about 10% of the features. Thus, we are focusing on the most common and the most important use cases, and we aim to give you a polished and focused experience. NeoWiki is developed by a Professional Wiki, and we have invested heavily in it ourselves. We have created a proof of concept and a demo, which you will see later in the presentation here. NeoWiki is also backed by Echolot, which is a European Cultural Heritage Consortium, and more on this later by Bernhard. Additionally, Hello World will use NeoWiki for the next major version of Blue Spice. Again, more on this later. Now, switching to the demo part. What we have here is the standard MediaWiki installation, and on the right-hand side, we have an info box. I actually don't know if you can see the cursor. Comment here on YouTube would be helpful. So we have an info box that's showing Professional Wiki with some properties here. We have a founding year, we have some websites, we have some products. And this data is stored in NeoWiki, and the info box itself is also generated via NeoWiki. You can edit this data via the edit pencil here, and then you get a form-like interface. Let's add one of our other websites here. And once we save that, the information on the page immediately gets updated. All right, so this is the first key concept. We have structured data that's stored in the wiki. It gets displayed, and you can edit it with the form. Now, you might be wondering, how is this form generated? This Professional Wiki, it's a company. This is the type of the entity. And if we click on here, we go to a page in the schema namespace that's defining what is a company. So NeoWiki, it has native support for schemas. And on the schema page, you can see what properties that the company has. So we have founded that, websites, and so on. You can see the types of these properties and some additional information. You can also edit these schemas via a visual editor here. If you wish, you can edit them via the source as well in some JSON formats. But the whole design philosophy behind NeoWiki is that the user should never have to touch source code if they don't want to. You can still access it via the APIs, but we provide smooth editing experiences and display experiences for both the structured data itself and the things around it, such as the schemas. So let's edit the company schema. You can see the different property definitions here. These can have descriptions, they can have default values, you can add constraints to these, and what you can do here depends on the type of the property. Now let's add an additional property here, maybe an awesome factor, because every company needs one of those. This probably should be a number, and then we can just save that. And if we now go back here, we can immediately see an awesome factor show up, which I added earlier and forgot to remove before the demo. But yes, so this new property is immediately showing up in the form here now. And as part of our philosophy of that the user doesn't have to be technical, they can edit the schemas directly from this UI as well. They can just click here and then, for instance, add a constraint here that the minimum level of awesomeness of a company needs to be 42. And now if I decrease it here, the form will show that the constraint is violated. All right, now I will show you what the flow of creating a new subject looks like. And I forgot to mention as context, NeoWiki, it's not production ready yet, especially in the sense that some key features are still missing. So this is what you're seeing now is an early demo of the system. And over here is a button to create a new subject. And subject here is the terminology for a container of structured data. So this is very similar to a page in Semantic MediaWiki or an item in Wikibase. And when creating a new subject, the first thing you have to do is to pick a schema. And here I can pick, say, an existing schema, or I can define a new one on the fly. And like one problem that we have in the Semantic MediaWiki world is that before you can even create something, you have to go to property pages and add some wiki text there. And you have to know this. There's like no indication of this. So you have, and even if you know it, you still have to hop between like different pages before you actually end up with an info box on your page, right? You have to also go define a template. You have to go define a form. And here everything is integrated. You don't have to jump to different places. You can just follow the UI flow. So let's create a conference schema, which is an event. And here we can add some property, maybe a location and a date, which should not be text, but let's continue with that for now. And then we can just put whatever we want in there. So I just created a schema and a subject using this schema directly from the page without jumping to other locations and without dealing with wiki text or other source code. Just like the things that inspired NeoWiki, which includes Semantic MediaWiki and Wikibase, there is a graph database that's behind this as well, where all the information is stored. So you can do graph queries. And at the moment, this is Neo4j, which is the world's most popular graph database. And in here, which is the Neo4j browser, we can see that the data that's in our wiki is also stored in Neo4j. So we looked at the professional wiki subject earlier, and I haven't rerun this query yet, which is why the pro.wiki website here isn't shown yet. And you can see that professional wiki is connected to some product subjects, which are also on the wiki. And the pages themselves, they are also linked and stored in the graph database, and some information like the last editor and the categories get stored on there, which is equivalent to what Semantic extra special properties does. You can also access this information in the wiki. Here we have not yet created the equivalent of results formats in Semantic MediaWiki terminology, but this will happen. It might technically use a different approach, but you will be able to do inline queries and inline visualizations directly in your wiki pages based on your structured data. And what we have so far in the demo system is you can run Cypher queries, Cypher being the query language of Neo4j, in your wiki pages, and you can get some JSON visualized, which we just added as a visualization to say, hey, actually the data is really there, and you can access it from your wiki. We will still create actual tooling on top of this to do nice visualizations. And then finally, to round up the demo, one concept in Semantic MediaWiki that people found very useful that got added after the initial versions of Semantic MediaWiki is sub-objects. And this is, by the way, something that Wikibase is missing, and that we thought we definitely need to have this. And the way that we realized this is you can store multiple subjects on a single page. And this page specifically here is about this museum. And there's also information about attendance here, right? Like how many visitors were there in any given year. Now, the way that this is displayed here in this info boxes, it's not ideal. Probably you would want to show this like as a table with a row per visitor count. We will have ways to alter how this information is shown, such as in a table later, but it's not in the demo yet. The important point here is that this page is storing this multiple subjects, and that you can have an arbitrary number of subjects on a page. All right, and with that, I will switch back to the slides here, and I will hand over to Bernhard to talk to you about the Echolot project.
Yeah, thank you. Well, this was an impressive demo, I think. I have had access to it, but I didn't yet have so much technical insight, so it was also interesting for me. Well, yeah, the basic idea, the backbone of this is due to an idea that we need some kind of major funding contributor to make such a thing happen. And for you in the US, you might not be aware of that. The European Union has a lot of research funds, and one of those research funds is called Horizon Europe. And yeah, there was a call that was targeted for GLAM organizations, so galleries, libraries, archives, and museums, who are very often users of, especially also Wikibase. Not so much Semantic MediaWiki because they don't really know it that well. And with the lead of TIB in Germany, we made this proposal and we got it funded. So the project is called Echolot, European Cultural Heritage Optimized Linked Open Tools. That's a mouthful. So what is our mission? We want to enable especially cultural organizations to create, reuse, and dissemination of high quality, semantically rich cultural heritage data that should be made accessible in various ways, especially for institutions of any size. So in the technology stack will be varying, but there will be certainly a MediaWiki suite on the core of it. So we want to leverage knowledge graphs. So that's why we have currently Neo4j, but there will be the possibility to have other triple stores or graph databases to be used for this. And yeah, there are those fair data principles we want to follow up, and it should also integrate with several other data reusers. I would say there is a project called Europeana that wants to collect metadata of cultural heritage institutions. There is a project called the digital uh, the data space for cultural heritage. That's what this is, this DS4CH, data space for cultural heritage. So the European Union puts a lot of effort into creating what they call data spaces where data can be shared amongst institutions. Next slide, please. Yeah, and the core Echolot system is based on MediaWiki. So yeah, we have this ready-made collaborative curation user interface that you just saw. There's an extensive library of extensions already, and we will leverage this. And there is also a developer community. So also the Echolot or the NeoWiki solution will be open sourced, so you can also contribute. And we have to focus on addressing the limitations that these cultural heritage institutions face, that is especially on how to manage structured data within MediaWiki, and also the question of access rights. We also have a large work package, or actually several work packages talking about the hybrid curation part. What does this mean? Well, it's hybrid, meaning semi-automatically with manual correction steps and so forth, partly AI supported. So this is going to be about importing data, exporting data, transformation of data, maybe even before it comes into NeoWiki. Data reconciliation. Many of those institutions currently use OpenRefine, and they do believe that it's the only tool available, which is not really correct, because reconciliation, there's an API, so you can reconcile your own data with Wikidata. That's what this is about. So is the person that I have in my wiki the same person that Wikidata knows about? This is called reconciliation. Then also things like entity linking and enrichment, also image recognition and annotation. Also data quality checks will be a large part of the project. This does not mean automatically that everything on this right side will be built into MediaWiki. So because there might be other technical solutions. As I've mentioned, some part of this hybrid curation workflows will use some AI tools, will use some tools that are logically before the data gets into MediaWiki. So we don't know exactly yet what will be built into NeoWiki or into the MediaWiki, maybe as other extensions. Yes, we have some case studies that are mentioned in the proposal. There's one about Basque cultural heritage data. There's the European literary bibliography. There is a media arts collections that want to be connected. There is Flemish fine and performing arts. And we also have use case about publishing and round-tripping GLAM data. Round-tripping meaning, for example, publishing data to Wikidata and also getting data back from Wikidata into your own MediaWiki instance. So this is something that is important. You see a list here of participating institutions, all in the EU, except I think for Rhizome, which is a US organization. They are not the official funded partners; they just use case partners. And on the next slide, you can see the list of our consortium members, who are 15 partners across 11 countries, who are the funded partners. Professional Wiki, that's Jeroen's company. Knowledge Management Associates, that's my company. TEB was hosting the last MediaWiki Users and Developers Conference in Hanover, in Germany. They are the lead partner and coordinator, and you have several other institutions across the EU who have different tasks and have different backgrounds. So yeah, we invite you to follow on Echolot. We have on LinkedIn, there is a page, on Mastodon, I think also on Blue Sky. And yeah, so please follow us and get involved.
Okay. Yeah, thank you, Bernhard.
Oh, sorry. Thank you, Jeroen and Bernhard. We have the floor is open for questions.
We're not done with the presentation yet, Jeroen.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry. I was so excited.
Yeah, we still have some slides.
Go ahead.
All right, so NeoWiki will also power the next major version of BlueSpice, and BlueSpice being the leading enterprise MediaWiki distribution developed by our partner Hello World. The current version of BlueSpice is using semantic MediaWiki, and as you can probably imagine, migrating an enterprise solution as comprehensive as BlueSpice away from semantic MediaWiki is no small task, and that's why Hello World has invested in NeoWiki. We are now together building the next generation of structured data for enterprise wikis. And if you want to have a say in the development direction of NeoWiki, so you can ensure that it accommodates your use cases and that it integrates with your solutions, now is the time to reach out to us. Then some words on the NeoWiki as a product. We already mentioned we are going for radically better usability and sustainability. Professional Wiki is the product owner of NeoWiki, and we are ensuring that it stays coherent and that it serves the use cases of our partners well. It's also an open source project. It's already on GitHub. You can already see the code there. There's a lot of technical documentation. We also have a Docker image with the demo that you saw earlier, and there is a public demo system which will be linked on the last slide. We are providing various extension points that allow you to build extensions on top of NeoWiki. And naturally, as it's 2026, we are designing NeoWiki with AI in mind. We think MediaWiki already provides an excellent foundation for AI systems, both in the sense that the knowledge, your knowledge that's inside of the wiki can grant the AI systems to provide better answers. And AI agents can collaborate with you or contribute to your wiki, since MediaWiki already provides a lot of collaboration tools, such as version history. You can undo bad edits, and you can see which edits were made by a specific user or an AI agent over time. So MediaWiki is a nice foundation, and then NeoWiki on top of this provides additional structure in the form of schemas, which we saw, and well-documented formats. And NeoWiki provides APIs to read all this data and to write it back as well. Then, since we don't have that much time for Q&A, I'm going to skip over the comparisons with semantic MediaWiki here and with Wikibase. Okay, my slide engine apparently doesn't like skipping it this fast. Okay. All right, to wrap this up, before we go to the Q&A, there is a live demo already at neowiki.dev. This has the same demo data that you saw before. And again, we have a Docker image that you can download so you can play with it as much as you want. The source code and technical documentation, including architecture decision records, is there, which can help you contribute to the project and also provide feedback and evaluate if it's a good fit for you. Keep in mind, NeoWiki, like I said, it's not quite production ready yet. Some key features are missing. Those will be added in the near future, and more announcements will follow. And with that, we can go to the Q&A.
Okay. Thank you again, Jeroen and Bernhard. Sorry, I jumped in early last time. You're doing fine on time, by the way. Obviously, it's an important topic. And I'll just say the use of the bundling of Neo4j makes a lot of sense, and it seems like a more logical approach than semantic MediaWiki, which is sort of a hybrid of graph and relational databases. Anyway, we have a question here.
All right, hello. I have two questions. The first is just to clarify: is NeoWiki going to be the product of Echolot?
So NeoWiki stands on its own. First of all, it's an excellent question. So NeoWiki stands on its own. It's a core component of the Echolot project, but you can use it without the other parts of the Echolot system. So if you're not in cultural heritage, you can still use NeoWiki. like I also mentioned, NeoWiki will be used for Blue Spice as a core for the structured data there, and you will be able to use just MediaWiki plus NeoWiki as well if you want to.
Awesome. Okay, thanks. And the second one's a lot more specific. So is it possible to define a custom data type for properties? So for instance, on the Musée d'Orsay page that you had, I saw the admission was 16.00. Obviously, that's in reference to euros. But in this case, could you create like a custom data type for currency and then have it format to be like, show 16 with euro sign?
Yeah, so if I'm on the page here and I don't like this precision here, what I can already do is I can open the dialogues here, and we're talking about the admission fee. And if I scroll down here, you can see precision. So I could change this to being 0, and then you can see it immediately removed the precision here. So there is already a system in place to do what you want here for specifically adding the currency symbol. That's not there yet, but the generic system is there. Part of why NeoWiki is not quite production ready yet is because we're missing some core data types. For instance, we don't have a type for dates, which is an important thing. But these are like things that are easy to add, which is why we skipped them in the proof of concept. So these things are coming soon.
Okay, fair enough. Cool. Thank you.
All right, cool. Here's another one.
Jeroen and Bernhard, thank you very much for a wonderful presentation. It's great to see this coming along. As you know, this is Rich Evans. I'm heavily invested in semantic MediaWiki, and I'm trying to figure out from your presentation what the tools that you're showing and how they replace the semantic MediaWiki experience. Using semantic MediaWiki as a node editor, thinking of each page in the wiki as a node in a knowledge graph, and then using an extension like page forms to edit those the properties in that page. My question is NeoWiki a form-based editor for editing the properties of pages, relying on Echolot as the back end that handles the actual semantic database in the back? Or like, I'm trying to figure out what the relationship is. If you could elaborate a little bit more on
Yes, thank you, Rich. Let me reiterate that NeoWiki is a standalone thing. So everything that I demoed today is part of the MediaWiki extension. There are no other Echolot components involved here. So I did not show is actually how the data is persisted here, because if I would edit the page source here, you can just see the wiki text. We took a similar approach to Wikibase, where we're storing the structured data inside of JSON, but then we kind of combined it with what semantic MediaWiki is doing with storing the data on the pages themselves. We're just using a different MediaWiki slots on a technical level, but the structured data is still inside of MediaWiki revisions. So if, say, we modify the admission fee here from 16 to 17, and then I go look at the version history, then, okay, demo effect is happening. You can see I just made the edit here, and you can, in the diff, see that it changed from 16 to 17 inside of the JSON. So that's the primary persistence. This is very similar to Wikibase, JSON stored in wiki pages. It's similar to semantic MediaWiki in that it's still stored in wiki pages. And then on top of this, there is the graph database in which you have your indexable, your queryable storage. And in our case, that's Neo4j. So the demo system, which you can also run, comes with a Neo4j image. So there's no dependencies beyond this.
Thank you very much.
All right, cool. Well, this is Jeroen. I have a comment and a question. My comment is actually the closest analogy I see to this is an extension called Visual Data, actually, which similarly stores data in JSON and lets you define a schema, and you can edit it with the same way and stuff. My question is, you two represent two of the biggest funders / developers of Semantic MediaWiki, I think. What's your view on the future of Semantic MediaWiki development?
So that's an excellent question, Jeroen. NeoWiki is very much inspired by Semantic MediaWiki, which we've been enthusiastic about for such a long time, like 15 years. But some fundamental design decisions are made here that are not really feasible to change. And there's also some issues around technical depth and so on. And NeoWiki doesn't aim to replace everything that Semantic MediaWiki does. So I think there will remain use cases for Semantic MediaWiki. There's also plenty of people that are enthusiastic about Semantic MediaWiki, and I expect it to remain maintained. From our side, as maintainers, there is also no thinking there that we want to fully drop it or something like that. We will remain around there. But this new project, NeoWiki, is giving us the opportunity to realize some things that we've been wanting to do for a long time, where Semantic MediaWiki is just not the right foundation. Just one random example there is, in Semantic MediaWiki, people have been asking since forever, if you have a query result, so say you're getting a table with some results in there, you cannot edit these values directly. You have to somehow figure out where are they coming from, and then on that page make an update. And being able to edit directly from your query results table, that would be fantastic. And that's something that we can do with NeoWiki because of the different design decisions that we made.
Yeah, and maybe let me add another aspect here, which is equally as important, I would say. Not only what you mentioned, but especially in the GLAM sector, several of those institutions that are partners or use case partners, they have, never heard of Semantic MediaWiki, but what they're using is the Wikibase extension. And the Wikibase extension has one purpose, and it's to power Wikidata, which is great. But it's overly complex to do the things that they actually want to do, for the exception of rare cases where you really want to build something that is exactly like Wikidata. But generally, those institutions, they now have their own Wikibase instances and things like that. So I would pretty much hope that they will, from running their own Wikibase extensions, switch to NeoWiki. So we will see. It is probably the best of both. It's going to be best of both worlds, and we'll see what the future might bring.
All right, we have time for one more question.
Yes. How do you measure 10 times improvement?
One thing we can look at is adoption here, and that also goes a bit to the previous question. So the goal here is not to compete with Semantic MediaWiki. It's much more about competing with these hyper-popular solutions like Notion. And for that to happen, we need some fundamentally different approaches, such as this radically better usability. So that's what we're going for. And if many more people come into the MediaWiki world, because there is this better usability around structured data and these capabilities which they don't have elsewhere, plus an open source stack, which is also a big selling point, we imagine this will be good for many things besides NeoWiki. We might even get more Semantic MediaWiki users via this route.
All right. Well, that was an extremely interesting and useful update to hear about. A lot of extensions mentioned. I don't know if, well, I'm certainly looking forward to seeing the full breakdown of the pros and cons and so forth. I assume that hopefully the slides will be available soon for everyone to view. But thank you very much, Jeroen and Bernhard, for that great presentation.
Thank you.
Guys, bye-bye. Have a nice conference.